Your Majesty at your service. Welcome to Fair Queen Talks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my podcast, Friends with Differences. Something that has been on my mind for a little while is the amount of relationships I have seen tainted and sometimes broken due to clashes in value systems. The phrase that I hear often associated with conversations about this is, why can't we just all get along? In today's episode, I want to share my thoughts on how we can evaluate our friendships in order to maintain healthy relationships with those we love and think differently to us. So this past year, there have been so many different topics that revealed value systems in individuals. And in my environment, these kind of topics were things like Black Lives Matter, Brexit, and the US elections. These topics can evoke a lot of emotion because it hits the core of certain individuals. So in an effort to self-reflect and become more self-aware, it was important to me to fully understand my position on such topics and my response to those who think differently. As part of my career in equality, diversity, and inclusion, it is important to be able to consider lenses and perspectives that are not my own. In my field, it is critical to ensure that all individuals can be authentic to themselves and not be directly or indirectly discriminated because of parts of their identity. Therefore, although having my own perspective on things for my personal life, it is my duty to ensure that people with different perspectives can thrive in their own lives. I have always taken this position in my life and personally have experience with being ridiculed because of my difference. One of these experiences occurred with someone that I considered to be a close friend at the time, which made me evaluate the friendship. At the time, I could not see how we could reconcile, and for some time we had no contact. Presently we speak time to time, however it has changed the nature of our relationship. It doesn't mean that I love the person less, however, in an effort to protect my heart, emotions, and feelings, I have set some boundaries. As you grow older, it is much easier to be able to identify the different types of friendships that you have. So this conversation refers to friendships that I would say are true friendships. And this can be defined as the following. A true friend is someone who doesn't place a classification, condition, value, or limitation on a relationship. Someone who will provide emotional support and will also remain friends during good and bad times without exceptions. When you have a true friend, you will survive all the curveballs that come along your way. But that doesn't mean that you won't clash. As part of my reading for this topic, I read an article called To Friend or Not to Friend? When Values Clash, Can People Be Friends? By Tessa Schlesinger. This question is posed because at the heart of two different value systems lie two different ways of seeing the world. Friendships are formed through shared experiences and values. People feel safe with each other when their systems, like belief systems, morality, ethics, culture, interests, etc., are similar to each other. They can have long conversations without fear of offending each other and without there being a sort of outrage when one person supports something that the other doesn't. So what happens when there is a big clash? What are you meant to do? When you have a friend with a difference, I think there are some steps that you can take. So here are 4 steps that you can take to help evaluate your friendship. Step 1. Have a sincere conversation about the difference and listen to understand your friend's perspective. When you do this, you'll be able to understand why your friend has this difference from their perspective. This will make it easier for you to agree to disagree should you feel differently in a respectful manner. Step 2. Love your friend for who they are and not what you want them to be for you. Your friend is their own person, and life is also always changing. So does your nature of the friendship, so learn to adapt to these changes. Step 3. Set healthy boundaries that are well communicated, especially when the difference is extreme. And lastly, step 4. Take a break. we have to find a way to peacefully live with each other. And this, unfortunately, can sometimes mean that we don't have to be friends in the way that we're used to. And in this case, you were only friends for a reason and a season. But you can always love each other from a distance and wish each other well. The most important thing that we can do is be honest with ourselves and determine whether the difference we have with our friends is something that we can embrace or not. Because when we are surrounded by friends we love without reservation, it makes life so much better. And at this time when there's so many different value clashes, I think it's important to make sure that you're always at peace with the people that you consider to be your friends. So I hope that this can help you and also identify, how you can have relationships with people that you truly love. At the end of each episode, I address the queendom. Differences can be embraced. You have to determine what constitutes a healthy friendship based on mutual respect. Love people for who they are. Friendships can change over time, so adapt to those changes. Thank you so much for listening to Therapy Talks. See you next time.